Watch this video to find out how you can get more hip to shoulder separation. Max Wardell over at athletics.com. So you might be asking, what is hip to shoulder separation? How do I get it? I saw it in a blog post, I read it in an article somewhere, I saw it in a YouTube video. What are they talking about? They're talking about the ability to rotate through your thoracic spine and disassociate your hips and your pelvis from your shoulders. So in this video, I'm going to show you some things where you can acquire this mobility and reinforce this mobility and improve your excursion in a rotational sense with a few exercises. You know, the ability to rotate farther through your thoracic spine allows you to decelerate over a longer arc, and it allows you to accelerate over a longer arc and get farther out in front of your chest. So these are all things we're looking for when we're pitching. But I see all these different approaches online, you know, with radical different ideas, plyometric training, all sorts of different things. And I didn't think any of those approaches were adequate in addressing the inability for somebody to disassociate their pelvis and their shoulders. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 practical things that you can do right away to improve your hip to shoulder separation. So first thing we're going to do, we're down here on the ground. I'm going to teach you open book, which is a common exercise. You see it in therapy clinics, you see it all over the place, but it's often done incorrectly. So what I'm going to show you here is how we're going to do this correctly to improve the ability over which we can rotate with our thoracic spine. So we're down here on the ground. We got 90 degrees hip flexion, 90 degrees right here behind the knee, 90 degrees in knee flexion. Right here, what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this way. We're going to let ourselves rotate back. I'm going to let my thumb go towards the ground, and I'm going to let it fall towards the ground. Now this is what a lot of people do. That's all right, but it can be better. Let me drive my knee this way, so I'm actually activating into that range. I'm making myself go farther into that range by driving my knee forward. I'm driving it that way. That's my angle, while I'm letting my arm fall that way towards the ground. Thumb towards the ground. So you'll feel often a lot of stretch right in the pec area. Breathe. Let it fall towards the ground while you continue to push your knee that way. So you're going to hang out in that. You can hang out in that for 2 minutes if you want. 30 seconds minimally. So there's one static position where actually activating into that range and improving the rotation in your thoracic spine. You're going to do that both ways. You know, sometimes we'll see people with an asymmetry where they can rotate farther to the left than the right, or vice versa. So we might have them hang out on one side more than the other. But overall, you want to consider, do you have the rotation through your thoracic spine to the right and to the left? And we often find that many people don't. So, you know, our advice is often that you have to do both sides. And if you know that you can't rotate to the left as good as you can rotate to the right, then you're going to hang out rotating to the left more. So it's that, I mean, it's that easy, but it's something that we don't see addressed, and we don't see this done properly, where someone's activating into that range. They might be laying there and their arms all the way on the ground. Well, you know, if their arms laying on the ground, they either have extreme thoracic mobility, which isn't often the case, or they're not doing it right, which is driving their knee this way. So I can't stress that enough. Now we're going to take you to an exercise with a band. If you got any guys have bands at home, I'm assuming most people do, or they have access to somewhere where they can buy a band. Even if you only have TheraBands, if you can use a heavy enough resistance, something to force you to activate in that range, which is what I'm going to show you next. Guys, so right here, I got a band. You can see it's an SFMA band, which we find are great tools. We use them all the time here at the OAI, but this one's a little beaten up. As you can see, we got a little tape on the handle. We definitely get some use out of it, but what you're going to do, and you can do this, there's varied approaches to this, and this is something we use in our corrective exercise program in the initial stages, but we're going to do a rotational chop from a half kneeling position. So We're out here in a half kneel, we reach out front, we protract, and we rotate, chop, we rotate through our spine. So you can see that I'm not just letting my arms go over here and barely rotating here, I'm actually keeping my hands out in front of my chest and keeping them about even with my sternum as I rotate. And then I hold. I drive this knee, so I don't let this knee fall out here and rotate my whole body. I take this knee and I drive it towards the attachment point. So I'm driving it into adduction as I go across. So I'll go back and forth, and I'll go from midline, hold, and I'll go back. And you can see it's not an easy exercise. And I've done that and variations that were 10 times harder, but I can still make it extremely difficult for myself. And I rotate all the way to through my end range, all the way as far as I can go, and I hold right at end range, and I try to continue to go farther and farther. So there's your first exercise after you do your open book. This is important because I do a chop in my throat. I rotate through my thoracic spine this way. So definitely an exercise that you can implement right away. I mean, we have guys sometimes do these as warm-ups before the game, but they're also even more useful as a training tool. So there's number 2. Number 3 is coming right here. Okay, so you guys have done the half kneeling chops, you've done the open book. So you want to know, what can I use to rotate this way when I'm throwing, rather than just my deceleration at the end of the throw. So here, I was thinking about showing possibly a lift, which is virtually the same thing as the last one. You attach to a low point, you lift this way, but I decided I'll try to show you guys some rotator cuff strengthening at the same time. So we always try to, if we can, incorporate multiple things in each exercise. So for this exercise, I got a band, whatever, I got a handle, any band will do. And you always think about, when you're doing these exercises, if I use a lighter band, I can get more mobility, but I won't get as much strength through that range of motion. So you want to develop both strength through the newly acquired range of motion and mobility. So you want stability and mobility, usable excursion. So here, I've just got a band attached here at a low point. It's kind of out in front of me, maybe at a 15 degrees off to my right. If I'm a right-handed pitcher, I'm going to go right here. Elbow a little higher than the shoulder. I'm in the scapular plane, which means I'm out in front of my chest. If you don't understand what the scapular plane is, you can look it up online. But either way, it's this way. So if here's straight out to the side, I'm here. So when I do it, I'm going to be right there. So in this exercise, I'm going to be in the scapular plane. I'm going to keep this elevation, elbow slightly higher than the shoulder. I'm going to keep that, go into external rotation. While I'm in this lunge stance, I'm going to attempt to keep my pelvis facing straight forward, keep my hips facing straight forward while I rotate through my thoracic spine, through my upper spine, and keep this in the scapular plane. And keep maximum external rotation, rotate as far as I can, hold, rotate back, down. One more time. Now, if I want to make it more difficult to rotate through my spine rather than the external rotation portion, I'll turn more this way. So it's harder at end range based on where the attachment is. So guys, there's 3 exercises you can do right there. All have variations. I could do a W with this one where I'm coming down here and I rotate. I could do a Y even and rotate and work on some of the mid-low trap or rhomboid. There's always variations I can do. I can take, if I don't rotate that way very well, but I can rotate this way pretty good. I can do where I have hamstring inhibition and I'm coming into a lift. Or if I don't rotate well in my deceleration portion, maybe I do a hamstring inhibition chop. So there's various different things I can do, but the most important aspect is that you're addressing the range of motion deficits that you have, and then going to your pitching motion. None of these things that I've showed you today will completely fix a improper kinematic sequence. You know, some of the faults in your mechanics may be preventing you from getting hip to shoulder separation. It's not just whether you have the physiological capability to do it. It may also be that your mechanics are disallowing that from happening. So you always need a comprehensive approach. You always need a holistic approach where you're not only working on things in the weight room like this or before bed where you're doing an open book stretch or whatever else. You not only need that, you need to work on your mechanics. But these three things will help drastically for anyone, even if you're just a hitter. You say, hey, I want to be able to disassociate my pelvis from my shoulders a little better. These would be great exercises for you. Rotator cuff strengthening for any throwing athlete, phenomenal. So, guys, if you like this video, definitely give us that thumbs up. We want to get as many people on this platform as we can, so be sure to share it with your friends. There's tons of content coming through here, guys. We're going to be making this like our main social media platform, and we want you guys to be sending us in ideas, things you want to see in videos, things you want Ed or myself to explain, and maybe show an exercise here, show an exercise there, show some mechanics. We're going to be uploading some videos on pitching analysis, some of the things. We've been doing a few shorter ones on Instagram, but we want to get out there, put them on YouTube where we can give it a little bit more in depth so people can learn a little bit more. But guys, click this right over here. We got the subscribe button right here, so it's that easy. Just click that. We're going to put a couple of other videos right here and right here, so go ahead and click those and share with your friends if you can. So thanks, guys. That's it.